Well, welcome everybody to day 24 of the 31 Days of May, and that means one thing, it's time for some more Ring of Honor with Cody Rhodes in charge, so let's get rolling with that. And we start out with our opening match, which I again forgot to make an elimination match. One of these days I'll actually remember to do this for every show. But hey, it's another edition of our Proving Grounds, as this time Dak Draper and Blake Christian, who are at the top of the rankings at the moment, with 6 points and 10 points respectively, face off against ELIMINATION, who comes in here with 2 points, and Ninja Mac, who's at 1 point. And unfortunately for old Ninja Mac, he's the first person pinned only a couple minutes in by ELIMINATION, who, and then another big shocker happens after another couple minutes, when none other than Dak Draper goes for a big move, but Blake Christian is ready for it, turns it into a roll-up, does a quick bridge, and actually eliminates Dak Draper, who was at the edge of the 12 points to actually call out Homicide. He eliminates him in second, and then ELIMINATION does his best, but Blake Christian's on a roll, and he gets the big win after another couple minutes, and winner of the match, and getting a big 5 points here as we're nearing the end of the year, is Blake Christian. So overall, 14-minute match, solid stuff, 36 overall. Draper gets a 34, Christian gets a 34, Ninja Mac, who's actually really good, but I just don't know what I have nothing really to do with him at the moment, and ELIMINATION gets a 30. So then, post-match, Christian is celebrating, and then Dak Draper comes in, and they have a face-off as the answers put over. They're both at 11 points now, and, the next man to get a point will likely face off, call out Homicide to try to advance out of the Proving Grounds, and here are standings going to the final 2 months. Ninja Mac is at 1, so he has one last shot to possibly, avoid being in that final match at Final Battle with his, RH career on the line. Aaron Solo is now at 4 points after getting impressive 3 points tonight. Until it's 4. ELIMINATION's at 5 points after getting impressive 3 points tonight. World Family CB is at 5 points. Andrew Everett's at 8 points, and Blake Christian and Dak Draper are both at 11 points. And this only gets a 19 because it's a 2-minute segment. It's two guys who aren't superly over now. But what can you do? And then, the answers then put over, what's tonight's all about. Survival of the Fittest. It's a Survival of the Fittest tournament. There will be 6 qualifying matches, then a 6-man elimination match as the main event tonight, and the winner will earn a future ROH World title shot. Heavily implying it'll be at Final Battle. So then we have Cody Rhodes coming out to the crowd, and, it's a new catchphrase, so he says, let's talk about the Survival of the Fittest, and he, basically puts over, it's going to be a hell of a fight tonight, and he's, facing a tough wrestler tonight in Tracy Williams, and he knows that Matt Cardona is also involved in this tournament, and, nothing against Terry Smith, but he hopes Cardona wins tonight, only so in the elimination match, Rhodes can nail him at the crossroads and send him packing and remind Matt Cardona what Ring of Honor is all about. So there we go, 67, solid stuff as Cody is Cody, and then we have the actual match, which is Cody Rhodes taking on Tracy Williams, and it's a solid match here. It only goes 10 minutes, and it's too short because Cody's involved, but it still gets a 53 as Cody is freaking great, gets a 62. Tracy Williams gets a 47. They have great chemistry, back and forth match, but Cody Rhodes is Cody Rhodes, and he gets the big win here with the Crossroads in a little over 10 minutes as he's the first man to qualify for the 6-man main event later tonight. And then Cody celebrates to a 65. Then we have our next match of the evening, which is going to be Matt Taven, who is, of course, half the original Kingdom, but the answer is going to put over. He's a former ROH World Champion, so now he's involved in this tournament, taking on Joey Janela, who, of course, officially debuted last month in that triple threat match, in that elimination match for the ROH North American title. And it's a back-and-forth match. Taven looks good as he is a former World Champion, but Joey Janela gets a few big moves and then is able to hit the package pile driver and pick up the big win here over a former ROH World Champion and advance into the final match tonight here at Survival of the Fittest. This only gets a 37. Taven does a 36. Janela gets a 32. This is more of a storyline win, as Taven is a better worker, but Janela is, a better character, so there we go. And post-match, Joey celebrates, Baby blows a kiss at Maria, and there we go, gets a 31. And then after that, we have Matt Cardona basically doing an in-ring saying, Cody's talking about how he wants the main event. Matt, Cody, you should not want that, because you'll be proven once again that for all your whining and crying, that I was the true superstar in the WWE, and I'm bringing entertainment to this bland-ass product here in Ring of Honor. And me and your of Ego Max are going to have a great night tonight. So bring out whoever's in the back, whose ass I'm about to kick. Harry Smith, you're Davey's misbegotten son, who has done 1/10 of what he does, because you got that non-charisma gene that the whole Hart family has, instead of the greatness that Davey Boy was. You're not bizarre at all. and this gets a 48, and now the match is on. And unfortunately for Harry Smith, Cardona actually, like, not quite get domination, but Harry Smith just isn't ready, and they don't click. Maybe Harry actually got a little pissed and tried some stiff shots, but in the end, after a little over 10 minutes, Cardona gets the win here with the radio silence. It gets a 41, Cardona gets a 39, Harry Smith gets a 35, like I said, because they're don't click. In post-match, Cardona celebrates with Chelsea Green to a 13 as the crowd moves. And next up, as we're at 2,300 people, we have just a pure high spots match. Like, this is just two guys like going after each other for, as they not just put over. Chris Bay, got a big win over Bandito before he's moved on to other pastures, and Lita Rush was going after the tag titles, and they just go right after each other. And this is like just pure offense, going move after move. But Chris Bay just outdoes Lita Rush just a little bit and gets the pinfall victory, completely clean, even though he's a cocky heel, and gets a big win and advances into the finals here, as this gets a 53, and Bay gets a 44, and Lita Rush gets a 52. And post-match, Bay celebrates to a 35 as we move forward. Next up, we actually have a face versus face match as Mask of Dorada gets in the ring against Dalton Castle. And this is a solid match, and Dorada does fly around, but Dalton proves he's just a little bit of a better wrestler. And again, he's a former ROH World Champion. And eventually, Dorada goes for the high impact maneuver 120 times. And Dalton Castle picks up the victory here and advances into the finals. He hits Horizontal Fizz, it gets a 50. They have great chemistry. Dalton gets a 47. Dorada gets a 49, despite being honestly not all that over. So, if he can actually get over, he'll be a great part of the roster. And post-match, Dalton and Dorada shake hands to the cheers of the crowd, as this was the only face-face match, as this gets a 34. And now it's time for our final match, as it's ROH North American Champion, the new one, Rich Swann, taking on Samurai Del Sol. It looks like Swann has the win in hand, but he gets a little too cocky, pulling up Samurai Del Sol. And Del Sol is actually able to roll up Swann almost completely out of nowhere, hit a wacky lucha bridge, and pick up the huge upset victory here. Well, not quite like a huge, but a pretty big upset victory here over the ROH North American Champion, as this gets a 51, Samurai Del Sol gets a 41, Rich Swann gets a 51, match overall gets a 51, good stuff. And post-match, Rich Swann freaks out as this gets a 52, as we now have our 6-man set for the Survival of the Fittest match. And then we move on sort of to the rest of the card. First up, as you sort of expect from what happened last month, it's Aaron Stevens and Dango Curtis of Ego Max taking on Anthony Ogogo and Nick Kamamoto of the Nightmare family. And this isn't it's not a pure squash. Because, Anthony and Nick are both tough guys. They're, Nick's a good brawler. Anthony, is a former boxer. So they do their best. But Stevens and Curtis are competent, accomplished, experienced veterans of this business. And they just, keep both guys in the corner. They both have their flashes of sort of, excitement. But, had a few double team moves, had a few big moves, and a little bit of distraction from Chelsea at ringside. And eventually, it's way too much for the inexperienced Ogogo and Kamamoto, as Dango nails them with the diving leg drop to pick up the pinfall victory after a little over 10 minutes. This only gets a 33, because honestly, Stevens and Dango are decently over, but they aren't that great in the ring, as Stevens gets a 38, Curtis gets a 29, Kamamoto gets a 25, and Ogogo gets an 18. And post-match, the heel celebrate to the boos of the crowd, as this gets a 35. And then, next match is a big women's match, as Willow Nightingale tries to get a measure of revenge over Lina Finar. And as Willow Nightingale is coming out to the ring to the cheers of the crowd, Lina attacks Willow before the match, throws her, from the ringside area over the steps against, press slam onto the guardrail, and before suddenly throwing her in the ring and telling the ref to ring the bell, as this gets a 33. And then the match itself, Willow does her best. She fights from below, and she gets some good shots in, but unfortunately for Willow Nightingale, Lina Farrar got the advantage right from the start, and she took advantage here. And in the end, Big Spoon dropped to finish things off, and a big victory for Lina Farrar in her official ROH singles debut, as this gets a 38. Willow Nightingale gets a 33, Lina gets a 38. Good stuff. And post-match, Willow is slowly getting up, and Lina drills her again with a big boot and picks her up, big powerbomb, and leaves her laying, as the announcers put over that with Lina on her side, the Virtuoso may never lose the ROH Women's Championship anytime soon. And I believe it's time for our next title match. Yes, okay, so honestly, might be our best match of the night, honestly, just looking at things. But it's, I mean, okay, it's Motor City Machine Guns, it's the BRISCOE brothers. You know how this match goes. And it's just high impact action right from the start. These guys going right at, every double team maneuvers, possible. Double drop kicks, dives, superplexes, Doomsday devices, wacky move after wacky move. Shelly's trying to in submissions, Saban flying around, despite them both being older than, I think Nikolai Volkov was when he was part of the $1 Million Corporation. BRISCOE's doing their brawling, big moves, J rollers, near falls, but eventually Machine Guns tonight, because they're basically two even match teams, are just that much better tonight. And they're able to a few big moves, finish it off with the Made in Detroit. And in that end, your winners and new ROH Tag Team Champions are the Motor City Machine Guns. Great match, gets a 60. BRISCOE gets a 50. Mark BRISCOE gets a 52. Jay BRISCOE gets a 57. Chris Sabin gets a 52. Alex Shelley gets a 58. So like I said, almost evenly matched. And honestly, just sort of gimmickly, Shelley just 1 point better. And that's how the Machine Guns won here. And post-match, Machine Guns celebrate with the titles as the announcers put them over, ending the long title reign of the BRISCOEs, as this gets a 48. Fun stuff. And then it's time for our semi-main event, which is either going to just kind of kill the show or it's going to be a great match. As Jonathan Gresham, it's Eddie Edwards, and Eddie sort of turns back the clock a bit tonight. He's no longer, sort of what he's been in Impact Wrestling for the past few years. He's almost back to, clean-cut, technical wrestler, trying to get that ring Jonathan Gresham, the current reigning ROH World Champion, and they face off in a technical battle right from the start, going after submissions, going after wins, taking Edwards down, taking Gresham down, going back and forth, going for submission wins. And the crowd's a little bit out of it, part because they don't click, and there's some weird spots where they go for submission, but Gresham isn't ready, and vice versa. And eventually, Eddie does fight back with some, a little bit of brawling, but Gresham takes him down. And, Eddie eventually goes back to his current ways of brawling and fighting, but Gresham's ready for him. And honestly, it's a very tough fight here, and Eddie does his best, but Jonathan Gresham is on a roll here in ROH since he's become the world champion. He locks in Edwards in the octopus hold, and with nowhere to go, Gresham has to tap out, and Gresham makes his 5th title defense of the ROH World title. This gets a 49. Gresham gets a 55. Eddie gets a 52. They don't click, and it was poorly placed. I honestly probably should have put the Machine Guns BRISCOE match second, but, what can you do? Live and learn, right? But still, a really solid match. For ROH, a really good match. And post-match, Gresham celebrates with the title, 42, but, unlike the past couple months, nobody comes out to challenge him. And it's time for our main event, a 6-man elimination match for the ROH Survival of the Fittest title, and a future title shot. And so this is sort of what I expected. Not the best, but what can you do? So here's how things go. It's an elimination match, and unfortunately for Joey Janela, he's the first man eliminated early, as Cardona sort of they go after each other, and after put over their past fights in other companies, but Cardona gets the big pinfall early, taking out Janela only after a couple minutes. Then, Chris Bay does some high flying. Him and Del Sol take, center stage, going after each other, really fighting some high flying moves on everybody, even working together a little. But eventually, because, they're actually enemies, they go after each other. That allows Dalton Castle to come in, hit a few big moves, and even get a near fall on Del Sol. Cody actually breaks that up. Cody and Dalton Castle face off for a minute, in a big fight. Cardona then attacks Cody from behind, tosses him to the outside, and actually hits a big pile driver through a ringside table, taking out Cody for the moment. But then Cardona then walks in, just as Chris Bay is taking out Dalton Castle with a big high-flying maneuver, and Bay picks up the pinfall victory to eliminate Castle. Then it's Bay, Del Sol, and ringing Cardona, and Bay and Cardona work over Del Sol. Del Sol does his best to be the underdog babyface, doing some high flying here, and he almost gets the pinfall victory on Bay, but Cardona breaks it up. They hit a double team victory. Cody tries to make the save for Del Sol as he finally recovers, but actually Chris Bay hits a baseball slide to knock him out, then a big dive, as Cardona hits another pinfall victory over Del Sol, and then it looks like it's going to be just lights out for Cody, as Bay and Cardona continue to work together. But then, Cardona, basically wants to take the victory, for himself, but Bay, knows he might be in trouble against Cardona one-on-one, so he actually attacks Matt from behind and hits a few big moves, and he goes for the big high-flying move, but Cardona rolls away at the last minute, and allows Cody to come in, bulldog, dusty style elbows, and then a big crossroads on Chris Bay. But as Cody gets up, Matt Cardona comes from behind, blatant low blow, picks him up, stuff pile driver, another one, and then he hits a big, then he goes up top, does sort of a, dusty shotgun jive, hits a big top rope elbow to the throat of Cody, picks him up again, another pile driver. 1, 2, 3. Matt Cardona is your winner of the Survival of the Fittest. This gets a 43. Let's see here. Cardona gets a 46. Cody gets a 58. Samurai also gets a 49. Chris Bay gets a 44. Dalton Castle gets a 47. JANELA only gets a 32. And post-match, Matt takes the mic as Cody is up at the top of the ramp. And Matt's in the ring with the rest of Ego Max. And he takes the mic and he says, I don't care when Ring of Honor thinks I'm going to take this out, because I'm not going to wait till Final Battle. I'm not going to wait till next year. I'm not going to wait a single damn day any longer. Next month, Ring of Honor right here on FITE TV. Jonathan Gresham, you've had some fun fighting some old men and some never was, but now you're going in the ring with true talent that's been in the big time. You're going to face me, Matt Cardona. I'm going to add that ROH World title to the list of indie titles I've taken and made worth something. So there we go. Matt Cardona versus Jonathan Gresham for the title next month. This gets a 45. And let's see here. Yeah, I mean, that's what I figured. JANELA, Samurai, Chris Bay we used too much. Only a 41, which we improved popularity of everybody else, but sort of like, tanked it in the tri-state. So, honestly, who did a good... I mean, hey, Jay Briscoe, great performance. Honestly, Eddie did a good job, and he, did the job no problem. And outside of that, Rich Swann, you did a good performance as well. So there you go. So yeah, not our best show ever there, but it was more of a building things up. And honestly, I didn't realize Survival of the Fittest was 6-way finals all the time. I thought maybe but it was a 5-way for once, but every other year was 6-way. So I figured I sort of had to do it as a 6-way, and that sort of hurt things because maybe Cardona, Cody, Bay, and Samurai would have been a little bit better. But what can you do? Stuff happens, and we'll see. Make sure nobody's super unhappy after this, and we'll do the usual checks of everything going on here as this continues to load. Gotta love the loading of... Well, I'm just going ahead and pause this, and I'll be back in a second when it actually finishes it loading. Okay, there we go. First, let's check out our mail. All right, yeah. Let's see here. Bandito. Okay, 12,000. Let's see. That's a little down from last month, but what can you do? Okay, so first, let's just look at our size. Let me see how things are going. Okay, yeah. So we increased a point. Southeast, Mid-Atlantic, Great Lakes, and we didn't even drop a point in Tri-State, so I'm not that mad. Okay, so titles, again. ROH North American Champion is Rich Swann. Looks like it might be JANELA, of course, who was faced off in that triple threat, but also it could be, Samurai Soul got the shock win. So the Fittest winner is Matt Cardona. And the World Champion is Deonna Purrazzo. Honestly, I just didn't have time for her to, actually, do a title defense. World Tag Team Champions Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin. This is their second title reign. And yeah, good stuff. Ending the nearly year-long reign of the Briscoes, so happy with that. And still, your ROH World Champion for nearly a year now, since, December, is Jonathan Gresham. Good stuff. If we go to our creative, still, Cody's our only franchise players. Next big things is Leo Rush. Hot Prospect is Leo, Chris Bay, Danny Jordan, Eli Isom, and Kylan King. Talk is Cody, Jay Briscoe, Aaron Stevens, Maria, and Dalton. Showstoppers is, Who's hot is Briscoes, Cody, Gresham, Lina. Who's not is only Eddie Edwards, which is okay. Let's see here. Storylines. This is one, actually, it's still hot, so I'm not going to kill it yet. Entertainment Invasion is at a 41. Gresham's Reign, which, oh, I forgot to add, okay, that's not the end, 47. Lucha versus Flash out of 46. 43 for that. Tag title storylines at a 60. Virtuoso's Defense Shelf at a 35. So there we go. And then if we look at our actual roster, which I need to change here. So first, let's see, Perception, major stars, just Cody. And Cody is still at a 60 because, again, there's nobody else around, and I haven't done like any long Cody segments recently, so there we go. But the question is, do you have any stars yet? No. Do you have any well-knowns? Yes, okay, so still Eddie. Okay, so Eddie's at a 37. Now, let's see, did doing the job here really kill him? Yeah, that was sort of a big job, so, but again, he's in his veteran phase, so I'm not that mad. Let's see, I assume losing didn't hurt Jay or Mark that much, but let's just check him out. Yeah, no, like they're literally the same. Okay, that's great. Jonathan Gresham is final. Okay, so hey, you super push a guy for 5 months over every major former world champion in your company, and he can actually get pretty over. You know, good. Which is kind of funny considering what's in the near future. I mean, you know, who knows what might happen. Anyway, so yeah, bit of recovery, but again, only so much we can do. Matt Cardona, let's see here. Okay, another point gain for old Matt. And then Rich Swan, did you lose any by doing the job to Del Sol? Let's see here. Survey says, okay, a point, but no biggie. All right. And then if we go down to our recognizables, let's see. Did Shelly and Sabin like earn a bunch from winning the titles here? I'm going to guess probably not. Okay, they gained a couple, so that's solid. I assume the same for old Chris. I mean, he's at a 30, so he's even lower. Okay, but he still gained a couple, so that's not the end of the world. Joey, let's see here. Joey, okay, gained like 6 points. Good stuff. Chris Bay, how are you doing? Popular, very uneven, I'm guessing because of the people he's beat. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Just, hey, if you push people and give them wins, they eventually, you know, win out. Let's see here. Chelsea Green, how are you doing? Okay, not bad. Gain another point. And then, I mean, I've actually got people I want, like, you know, that I'm actually pushing into sort of the, out of the abyss. Let's see here. Is there anybody I care that deeply about as far as their, I mean, Tiana's still interesting because she's not that super over. But she's really good despite that. Oh, Samurai Del Sol. How much did you, okay, so you're at a 22. I think the only reason you're unimportant right now is because you have cooled momentum, which is interesting. Okay, so yeah, you gained 2 points, so hopefully another win, but we'll see what you do there. So it's fun stuff there, and yeah, sort of like, you know, next month, I mean, it's officially called Road to Final Battle, but I'll figure another name that November shows have been under as far as that goes, and then Final Battle is a pretty big show, and, you know, not quite the end of our first year, but the end of our sort of like first half year, and we'll see how we're doing from there. But yes, next month will be like a more normal show as far as like, you know, there'll be women's title match, there'll be some further of our feuds, but we just need to do this show. But anyway, as we're going over stuff, first let's look at what All Japan did. Burning Wild defeated Violent Giants, I believe. Yeah, that's Aki and Mori versus Isquad Suama. And yeah, no real title defenses here. Interesting. Impact had Bound for Glory. Big Cass defeated Rhino and Eric Young for the X Division title. Sure. Mickey James defeated Deonna Purrazzo in a first blood match. Interesting. Moose and Heath Miller defeated Shira and Ben Fulton. Mike Bennett defeated Crazy Steve and Brian Myers. Okay. Hey, at least these guys are getting work when I'm not using them. Breckenmore defeated Jay White. Sure. Let's see here. Shimmer exists. I forget. Did Bandito sign with somebody? Or did he just, like... Yeah, because he also left Crash, which was weird. Let's see here. Did I just miss a news story? No, okay. Weird. Anyway, then we go to the major companies. WWE. They had Clash at the Castle, not in Scotland, so I might, like, I don't know. Depends on how much I care. But let's look at what the show they did. So, bunch of weird undercard matches. We had Tamina defeat Zia Lee in a 38. We had Ronda Rousey defeat Dana Brooke and Nikki Ash. I mean, sure. Carlito. The game knows Carlito's hot right now because they had him defeat Dave Chris for the RTW 24/7 title. Finn Balor and the Viking Raiders, the New Judgment Day, defeated Austin Theory and the Alpha Academy. Becky Lynch defeated Shotzi and Aaliyah. Sure. Rey Mysterio and Ricochet defeated Omos and Brian Cage. Talk about, like, that's the most two different teams possible. That was either, like, at the 65, in real life, that this would either be the most fun match ever, or a total, like, mess. Cesaro Nakamura, aka the IWC Dream Team, defeated the New Day and the Dirty Dogs. So fun stuff there. Another 65. Sasha Banks retained the SmackDown champion, defeated Liv Morgan, Asuka, and Shayna Baszler. Happy Corbin defeated Kevin Owens in a ladder match for the US title. The internet would be dying right now. And Braun Strowman defeated Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn in a cage match, retained the IC title. So not even a title defense from Roman. Interesting. So if we go to NXT, let's see here. Okay, they still haven't had... What? Okay, so it's just a long gap here. Interesting. Let me see here. Any title changes or title defenses? Let's see here. Braun Breaker still's not defended the title. Very weird. North American. Santos Escobar is still your champion here. Tag team champions are still pretty deadly, and they've never defended the titles. Okay. Women's champion is Ulysse Leon, who's, yeah, okay. NXT booking is weird. Let's see here. Then if we go up to AEW, not All Japan, All Elite. All right, so All Out, I think, yeah, happened after. It's weird, like, yeah. Anyway, All Out. Let's see, what did they did? Powerhouse Hobbs defeated Figure de Sol. Wardlow on the pre-show defeating Tony Nese. Paige Van Zandt defeated Yuka Azuki, Kiera Hogan, and Red Velvet. I remember when they had Paige Van Zandt. Rebel defeated AQA in a ladder match. Again, two people who they don't even use anymore. To be fair, they got 26, so maybe they're actually right there. Darby Allin and the Varsity Blondes defeated Jay Lethal and the Initiative, which is, I believe, yeah, Brandon Cutler and Peter Evelyn. Sure. Britt Baker and Serena Deeb defeated Athena and Layla Hirsch by DQ. Okay. Tony Storm defeated Julia Hart and Ruby Soho to retain the AEW Women's title. I mean, I can think of worse booking. Fish and Riley defeated Ortiz and Santana and FDR to retain the AEW tag titles. I mean, not bad. MGF and Miro defeated Matt Hardy and Matt Sydal. Okay. And then main event, Adam Page defeated Danielson, Moxley, and CM Punk to retain the AEW title. I mean, honestly, better booking than AEW did in real life with Page. Like, you want to put him over. Hey, put him over, the big, honestly, 3 legends, at least for AEW fans. That's how you make him a star. Actually make him win. Anyway, see here. Dynamite had Danielson and MGF defeated Hardy and Page. Scorpio Sky still your TNT champion. Jade Cargill still your TBS champion. Let's see here. Rampage had FTR versus Ortiz and Santana. Tony Storm defeated Mercedes. Dynamite the next week had Page defeating Danielson for the title. Andre is still the FTW champion because that's the thing that exists. Jade Cargill won him again. Rampage, MJF, and Miro defeat the Best Friends. Let's see here. Dynamite again. CM Punk defeated Jericho, Jeff Samojo, and Jeff Hardy. And El Diodo defeat Matt Hardy. And then Tony Storm defeats Serena Deeb. Again, it's almost like having main events involving big stars where there's a question of who might win actually draws. And then, yeah, so there they are. I mean, again, don't want to be asked here, but, like, this booking is more of an AEW I'd be more interested in. But I also admit openly I am a weirdo. Noah had a Muto and Tanaka defeated Saito and Yone. Sure. Tarazuki won a 4-way. Okay. It's Noah. Let's see here. Anything else of note before I move on to New Japan? Not really. Impact, I already showed you guys. I think, yeah. Again, Alexander has not defended this. Like, yeah, it's some weird stuff with I might have to go in this mod and make sure like the titles and everything is okay, because otherwise it makes no sense. Like let me find Alexander on the roster and see what they've even been doing with him. Because one thing, like if he's wrestling and he's not being booked, but let me see here. So it is now October, and here, let me get just Impact. Yeah, I mean he's just wrestling in random matches. Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. Anyway, yeah, so let's look at what New Japan is doing. So New Japan had Kings of Pro Wrestling, Okada versus Naito, Takagi versus Kenta, Kojima and Ishimori versus Takahashi, Yujiro and Jay White are the tag titles between Guerrillas of Destiny. Yvonne Bushi are the new IWGP Tag Champions, defeated Wato and Taguchi. Aldous and Rene Dupree are a tag team there. I mean, honestly, that could be an interesting, like, tag team. Anyway. So yeah, that's sort of where we are. NWA exists. Mickey James and Kylie Ray defeated the Infected, which is, I guess, Allison Kane and Emiliano Perez. Okay. Yeah, this is your tag title scene. I don't know. Yeah, there are no tag champions. Let me just look up who is the NWA World Champion. Okay, it's still MASCARA. Oh, right. Okay, so that's but no actual defenses. Yeah, I think there's something wacky in this game, in this mod, where it's not like having people actually defend their titles, at least the main title. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like, let me just even check WWE real quick, because I think they've been doing okay with their belts. I mean, yeah, Roman's at least defending the title. Weirdly on Raw, but hey, what can you do? Same thing with Universal title. Yeah, I mean, again, it's sort of random, and they don't know how to do two titles at once, but, like, yeah, it's at least happening. Unlike, yeah, let me just find, like, a random company. Here. Yeah, like, it... Oh, wait, here, let me actually check AAA. I mean, no, at least, like, yeah, it's weird. I don't get it. Anyway, um, that's it for the moment. If you enjoy the show, go ahead and give it a like. Comment below what you're liking and not liking. And of course, subscribe to our channel for plenty of other TEW 2020 content like this. Got my WCW 2005 series, a current Cornelverse series, got Ring of Wrestling, Basketball GM, Victoria 3, Crusader Kings 3. Who knows what else might pop up. But that's it for now. So talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.